it's best to arrive.
Kuvaliwe than isifike kuvuliwe.
Yeah.
So he's saying no to housebreaking. That's what he's saying. If bakuthola kuvulekile, it explains why men would say, mina ngifuna intombazane nomntwana. But who do you expect to marry that girl when you have 5 kids with different women?
Yo.
Niyazibona ke guys. Niyazibona.
I think it's a old school double.
So is it a thing?
It's still
is it a
trending
thing
very
that
much.
men still want like to be? You are rather.
Welcome, guys, to another exciting episode of On the Table, where no conversation is off the table. And as you can see, we brought our favorite guy back. Izzy's here to give us some more gems.
Yeah.
Right? Because he was dropping some gems. If you missed out on last week's episode, be sure to check it out on the Table, on Podcast and Chill on YouTube. Today we've got... DJ Black Velvet.
Yes.
We've also got...
The Ghost Lady.
Yes,
Nice.
Ghost Lady is here. Thank you for joining us in this episode.
Thank you.
But today we're going to be talking about something that this one, guys, suggested we talk about.
You know, I've been wondering to myself about this. I think growing up, very funny because my parents are married and they're still married and all about love. But I've never grown up wanting to be married. You know what I mean? I always thought to myself, dude, I don't understand or I will never get into the whole institution of marriage. It doesn't make sense to me. Mm-hmm. And then I grew up a bit, and the older I get, I'm just starting to think, fuck, maybe this could be something I could do. You know what I mean? So I decided, let me go on a little experiment and start asking people, right? So I asked random people, lots of random people who are married though. And because I've always wondered to yourself, how do people know that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? You know? And it's very funny because a lot of them said there's something common in all the people that I've asked. Mm-hmm. And they've always been like, because this person is my friend. And this person is my friend. So in my mind, I'm thinking, so in order for me to be married. Then another guy was like, no, if you guys can live together for 3 months and you don't feel like you're living with someone, then you can marry this person. And mind you, that guy is married for 10 years now.
Yo.
You know what I mean? So I've always wanted to know, how do you know that this is the person for you?
Before I answer your question, was something. Sithungise.
No. Hell to the fuck. My current situation. No. Not anytime soon. But you know, you kind of get to that point because it's very funny. I don't look it, but I'm 31. You know what I mean? But you get to that point, the older you get, you're just like, I was all about the red race, making the money, chasing the paper, chasing whatever. And then the older you get, you're just like, now that you're starting to get what you want, you're like, it's not as what you expected it to be. Okay. And it's not as fulfilling.
He's just saying adulting is shitty.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And you start to think, maybe I could just find that contentment in other things. Mm-hmm. And maybe marriage could be one of them. You know what I mean? I'm just curious. I'm just at a point where I feel like I'm in transition, and I know a lot of guys out there probably going through the same thing, where you were just like, okay, I think fine, now I can settle down now. You know what I mean? I can get into marriage. But there's set of questions that you want to ask yourself before you get into it. How do you know? How do you know that this person is the one? How do you know that this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with? How do you make the conscious decision to do that?
So I would like to ask you a question, right?
Again. I asked him a question first before we answered his question.
Before you answer this about like how do you find the one, is because you took it back to your parents who were married and they're married for over 30 years. And so were they not a good example for you growing up? Why did you maybe not necessarily detest marriage or not even see yourself being married? You never liked the union. Why did it? What kind of marriage did they have?
I never liked the idea.
Why?
I've honestly never liked the idea. I think also, marriage has a lot of challenges. And we've gone through the challenges that we went through, my parents, and they still loved each other, they beguiled with each other, and they love each other. And that's the truth, and they've kept it going. Because no marriage is without challenges, I assume, especially just getting it from my parents. But I didn't see myself in that position where I go through challenges like this with someone else. I've always felt like, dude, I could do this on my own. I could go through these challenges on my own and avoid all the fucking trauma that you have to go through with someone else. You know what I mean? So that's how I've always seen it. But now I'm just like, it comes with the good, it comes with the bad.
Yeah.
So how do I navigate and know that this is the person I want to go through the bad and the good with?
For me, I think... like the people that you've asked said, it starts with a friendship. So I'm going to speak personally from my experience. I dated my husband for 5 years before we actually got married.
5 years?
Why is that? Is it long?
Wow.
Is it long?
You know, you must just add that 5
long.
years into that wedding anniversary. Because
So now we are like 10 years, 11 years together. You know? So yeah, it's not, eh?
Nah.
So we dated for 5 years, but when did we start dating? In 2010, 2011, I can't remember. But 2013, we knew that we wanted to get married. I think there is something about the person that you're with feels like home. It's a comfort. For me, it was sort of like a comfort. It was like, I could come home to this. I could have a conversation with this guy. And also, I could sit with this guy in total silence and it still feels peaceful. It doesn't feel awkward. It doesn't feel like I need to be trying to do certain things. But as time grew, for me, like a marriage is almost like as a mirror. It's a reflection of yourself. You see yourself through the other person's eye. So in him, I honestly could see the parts of me that I needed to better. And I was okay with him seeing me at my lowest and him being with me on the journey to growing me. I actually wanted him to be the one to correct me when I'm wrong. It wasn't when he's correcting me. It's not to say it doesn't come across as making me feel bad, but it comes across as making me, this is a part of you that you need to grow in. So and then we went to premarital counseling. Then I was like, man, this is the guy I'm going to marry, guys. Because, so one of the questions we were asked was, why him? Out of all the guys that you've dated and the people, I knew Tepe was going to have something to say about that, but don't say anything. Of all the guys that you've dated and the ones that you could possibly date, why him? So we were asked the same question. So it was like, why him? So it was our homework to go and think for yourself as to why this person. And like I said, for me, he felt like home. For me, I knew that even if tomorrow I could do something wrong, he would reprimand me, but he would do it in love. He would have my back no matter what. And that's the kind of person you always want next to you, where it feels like home, where it's comfortable, where it's peaceful, and everything is done in love. Even if we're fighting over finances, but one of us is wrong. We know that it's either, no, you've overspent, you were not supposed to overspend. So being corrected in a loving manner, this is something that I can live with.
Can you describe what's a loving manner? Because sometimes I feel like mhlambe either nginomsindo, I'm too loud, I yell a lot, or maybe hake sharp. So what's a loving man? When somebody says, he reprimanded me in a loving manner, where they're like, oh no, Luma Baba, don't do that again. What's that?
No, it's not even about even using pet names. We don't even use pet names for each other. But I think the same way you reprimand your child, is it from a place of hate and disgust when they've done something wrong?
Mm-mm.
Exactly.
But I'm angry.
Yeah, it doesn't take away the fact that you are angry and what they've done is wrong. But when you are reprimanding them is because you want them to do better and you want them to do good. So for me, that is a loving manner. But also how your partner's love for you comes across, how he speaks to you without even speaking, is also another thing that plays a major part in a loving manner, because you and ubei wako, how you guys communicate when you are not speaking is a language that only you two would understand. And I also know when my bae is speaking to me without even speaking is a way that only we can understand.
Okay. So it's not coming from like an emotional point of view where the person is just angry, I think. It's more of like they've thought about it and they've had to adjust themselves and then approach you. So it does not, it's like they already want to manage the situation that it doesn't escalate. I think that's how I'm understanding the place of love. It's just not just pick up the phone, yo, what's up, bitch?
I guess I had to learn that, because me, you take me off now, we go, touch is a move is a bullet. You know, I'm that. But I had to learn, and I'm glad you made an example about kids, to say when I reprimand my kids, is it coming from a place of hate? It's never coming from a place of hate. But I find that I struggle with the difference between, because you hear people say, it feels like home, it's peaceful. Sometimes home is not peaceful. So when you say it feels like home, you know,
but
what's my context of home? That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. What is home for you? What feels whole to you? What feels comfortable? What feels loving? What feels peaceful? I think maybe if your home is not peaceful, God forbid, but maybe try to imagine yourself in the ideal environment that you would want yourself in, and how you would want your partner to communicate with you, and how you would communicate with him in return, and then that will.
And now it starts with you. You have to now be that. Yeah.
You know, you can't say, I want a peaceful home and a comfortable environment, whereas you are not doing anything about it.
Not even peaceful towards myself.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I get it.
So is the fact that I can still say, I love this person, enough for me to go walk down the aisle with them?
Sorry, say that again?
I'm saying, is the fact that if I can say I love this person, is this enough for me to walk down the aisle with them?
Only you can answer that.
So
and the thing is, love. The thing is,
no. I think a lot. You know what I mean? So if I'm gonna make a decision, I make a decision. So, but I need to really process it. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, you know what? With love, what I've come to understand is that love, you can dissect it in so many ways.
Yeah.
The thing is, love can be emotional. Love can be it's logic. So it's not just if you're coming from a space of emotions, saying I love this person, is it enough to walk down the aisle? I would say no. Because emotions change. Tomorrow you could feel like you don't love them. You know, it's like emotions are never the same. You know, so it's one thing you're feeling lovey-dovey, other moments you're feeling like I just want to be left alone. So does that mean now the relationship is over? So it's you have to manage within all aspects that love becomes more of an understanding. That's how I've come to understand it for my even marriage. Is that it's more of an understanding, a love of understanding than emotional love. Because with understanding, you're able to make a decision as well. It's deciding that I'm going to be here, I'm with this person forever, as long as we're still together in this decision that we're going to be walking in this journey together. So you understand it just depends on how do you dissect love as at that point?
Yeah, what is love to you?
Shit.
Love for me is staying in bed on Sundays, except for when my grandmother forces me to go to church. But yeah, staying in bed on Sundays, eating nice food, binging on content. Yeah,
but then there's Monday, there's also Tuesday, there's Wednesday. You see how it's like it would be nice on Sunday, then Monday is another story.
Yeah.
So what is love for you, Claire? I'm
going to reference my folks again because I see it.
Yeah.
You know, they used to have lots of like, during their tough time in their marriage, I said with my mom, like, why are you still with this person? And she's like, this man kept choosing me every single time.
Yep, guys, choose us.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
No mas jiva nani, choose us.
It's like he kept choosing, like whatever's happening, the family, they're having issues, they don't like my mom, but he kept choosing her. You know what I mean? And I was just like, so is that what love is? You constantly choose the person every single day.
When they constantly
When is your
choose
dad
you.
coming to the show?
Daddy?
You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like, I think also how they perceive, I don't know, how they used to perceive marriages and all that is, and what our marriages are right now. I mean, now in our marriages, so Bemi Habli must be in. You know what I mean? Shay Habli and we chill, we go partying.
Yeah.
If she wants to rock a short dress, she can
That
rock a short, you know what I mean? So then in this generation of ours of Instagram and Twitter, where a person's just a DM away, there are so many options.
Eish.
Is it still relevant to constantly say, I choose this person every
day.
But you see, those challenges will come because it's just in another form, like you say. We're in a new generation, but let's say now your family had issues with that. Like, how? Why is your wife pay me hardly? But the thing is, it's like, then now that's now you being saying, I'm going to choose her regardless of my family feeling like she's not wife material or whatever. It's, you see, that's the choosing that your father, it just happened in another aspect, but this time it's now having you doing the choosing, and it becomes a challenge again. You know?
Here's my contribution in agreement with your daddy, in agreement with Ukosti, saying that love is an understanding. I also want to add that love is a principle. And the reason I'm asking you guys what is love to you is because it's every day where you wake up and you make the conscious decision to love this person. You choose to love them today, you choose to love them tomorrow. If today she cries, if tomorrow she laughs, if tomorrow she swears, you still choose them. So when you make the decision to walk down the aisle, I can't say to you, it is enough for you. But only you can answer it based on your love in your loving relationship with your partner. Is that the person you want to stand by when your family doesn't choose her? And you say, I
because
still
it
choose
happens,
her.
hey, when family doesn't choose your partner, how do you deal with that?
When
Now they
she
say, hey,
uses money in the home that was meant to pay for the bond or electricity, do you still choose her? Because every day is not Netflix and chill. Every day is not a Sunday.
Yeah.
But also my
But
question.
it is for me.
But you know, then my question is, I always wondered to myself, okay, if my family does not like Ghosty, also what are they seeing that I don't? That's a relevant question to ask, right? What are they seeing that perhaps then Angibo and maybe Bang 7 zillion? So what's the response to that?
But you obviously look at, I find it very hard to believe when your family sits you down and they tell you how much they don't like your partner. You don't go and think about the things that they say. You don't necessarily go and tell her that, Ekaya, they don't like you because of 1, 2, 3. But you maybe go and you introspect and you look at the situation and you study her and you either say, nah, they're wrong, or nah, maybe they're right. But a lot of the times, men choose their wives when they see, no, whether they're right or wrong, I'm choosing her, I'm staying with her. Whether uyangzalela or akangzaleli, I'm staying with her.
So also sometimes your family could be cautioning you about something that is really there, but also sometimes they could just blatantly don't like me
her
for you, but like DJ Black Velvet for you. There's also that 50-50. That is where you make the decision. But I would say also find out as to if they say we don't like DJ Black Velvet, why do you guys not like her? But then it does not only end with them. It goes beyond that, because at the end of the day, and for those who are not Christians, I'm going to quote the Bible. It says, "A man will leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife."
And a lot of black families struggle with that.
So you leave your mom and your dad and your sisters and everybody to build a new home with this
wife.
person. So in you seeing a wife in this person, do you see her as part of your extended family? Because now your mom and your dad become an extended family. That's a hard pill I've had to swallow. You know?
So they're extended.
Because the family now,
Bona so abantu extended.
you know, it's going to be me,
outside.
you, and our kids. That is our immediate family. So when you are sitting down and you're talking about building a future and building a home, does she fit in your idea of what you need from a wife? And do you fit in her idea of what she needs in a man?
You know, just to further that, you know, when you talk about the responsibility that also lies within you. Yes, the parents or other people may talk. So I remember with myself, I think before when I started getting into this mode of, okay, I don't like mcholo nje. I really am going back to my roots of I want to be married, I want to have a husband, and I'm just being in this relationship that is just calm and it's okay. Like I'm protected basically. And then so first it took me, I even like prayed about it, and I was like, God, help me find this man, right? So already it's your spirit. You have to be guided by your spirit. And then 2 is when everything becomes effortless, right? So it was like, you know, nothing is a struggle. It's not like you have to be, you know, conniving or try to manipulate. Everything just happened easily. It was like when I met him and we spoke, and I even said, no, you know what? Maybe how you're behaving like a boyfriend, like, okay, what's going on? And then he said, okay, I want to be your boyfriend. And then I'm like, but you know what? I just don't want to be in this boyfriend, girlfriend. I want a relationship where we're moving on, because this is the kind of woman I also want to be, that I've been practicing and trying to say, this is what I want for my future now. And then it also came and said, this is the kind of man I also want to be, and I'm looking for a wife, you know? So it's everything, when just everything is effortless. Yes, we meeting each other's families. It was just easy. And everything is like, first you just pray about it and say, God, make sure that this process, I want it to be easy. I don't want problems. And before you know it, we're married, and we've been married
VW.
Huh?
Because if I'm VW, I would say, yo, una mango.
No, VW. That was the first. So God really made sure he brought someone who knows VW.
So you'd have a red flag if a gent was driving a VW.
That's what I wanted to ask you. What car do you drive? That's the question I wanted to ask you.
We can just go and
Are you a VW guy?
Not you change cars.
And Toyota
Yeah.
So today is VW, tomorrow is BMW.
But my personal car is a Vita.
Oh.
And guess what? It's red.
Red flag. Red flag.
No.
Okay.
How I drop, I get.
We drop it.
I've been meaning to.
No
That's what Simpiwe's car's dropped.
No wonder he's not.
Oh wait, but also now. I understand.
No wonder he's trying to figure out how do you know.
Yeah,
No wonder he's trying to figure out.
But here's an interesting thing you also mentioned when you were talking about how now times have changed, you know, coming home to your wife or getting home and you guys are smoking bubbly and whatnot. Why is it that majority...
Lumpy.
She's smoking champagne. She goes bubbly.
Another word I learned was, you know, shisha. You call it shisha.
Shisha.
It's hubbly. Look at you.
Shisha pipe,
Okay. I knew that. But
Or hookah.
why is it? Yeah, that's the original word I knew from back home. Why is it that most men would not marry the woman that they party and drink with?
Because it's that misconception. Nuguti, when you find a wife, it must be umuntu wasendlini, you know, like this humble girl who doesn't know nothing, who's not off the streets.
I feel like this changed though. It's no longer I mean, in the traditional sense, Ghost, did you think if there were traditional standards, you'd be married Ghost and talking the shit that you talk on like this show?
Exactly.
But
you understand?
Here's what I've noticed. I agree with you when you say it's changed, but what I've noticed is that you wouldn't necessarily party with your girl every weekend. You know she does it, be it with her girlfriends somewhere, you know, where girls like to go. But if I were to say I'm going to Woodmead News Cafe and we are there and the people know me, what are the chances?
I go with my husband, actually.
I'm
I'm
every
there
party
pushing my
I've been to.
Rihanna stomach out in clubs. 2 a.m.
No, the
You're
thing is,
really
you
bumping and grinding.
You are now married. No, you are now married. But okay, let's then say back in the day, why was it looked down upon, or why would guys not consider? It's like you wouldn't. Guys don't necessarily date the ladies that they smash every now and again, but they will look for the one who hasn't had a number of men.
But how many of them nowadays? How many of them have not have a number of men?
Excuse me?
I'm just saying. That, you know what I mean?
Excuse me?
Look, the rules have changed, dude. Like even girls have body counts now.
Body
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
if they're not ashamed to say I have a body count,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So for me, you can't set a standard and like, oh, okay, no, I want the red pill, but with a little bit of the blue pill. You decide. You know what I mean? So dude, the game has changed, dude. If we're gonna smash,
Would
we're
you
gonna
marry
smash.
a girl that you party with and you do hubbly with and you smoke anything with and you get drunk and all those things that people say you shouldn't marry a girl who's done those things?
It depends on our relationship. If that's how our relationship is working out, and we find love in what we do, why not? If we wanna party, we wanna party. But also, it must just end there. But and that's the thing about it, is that you get to a point where we automatically try and associate. If you go party and you go hubbly or and can't
Why?
olate chiriama haeng jo. Our favelas was nix. You know what I mean? So it's not a party girl or is Lalini girl or a city girl. It's a person thing, dude. It's not. Some people have found love at
And I'm
Groove
asking,
in the
you know,
club.
and I'm glad you made that
I'm some
example
people.
of Abantu Balanda, Balanda, you know, girls from the village or wherever. I'm going to speak about church because church is mostly what I know. The guys, when I grew up, so the older guys, the ones that I've seen them dating the ladies at church and whatnot, they never married. I'm sorry for laughing. But they didn't marry them. Instead, afike ati, and Nigeria say PE.
And you know,
We just
about
hear
PE
that this
hands.
one is getting married to some girl from PE, and you're like, when?
And that time she's never stepped a foot in church.
Oh, we've never even seen. Yeah, we've never seen her because we know that you are with Ghosty. Okay, you broke up with Ghosty, then you dated DJ Black Velvet. Now, PE.
And no, that happens, you know. It's just they are on the streets as a son twin. That's
The church is in the streets, you know. But also, I think I also believe in like balance. I believe the universe works in a sense of balance. Is that there can't be too much of one side.
Oh yeah.
Like, so if you are a church boy and you are hallelujah, amen the whole day, bro, the universe is gonna balance. You're gonna find a hoe. Not in church.
Yes.
No. You know what I mean? And it's gonna balance. So I think it's all about balance for me. So that's why they never
Polarity.
marry the people that are walking too much into. Yes, eventually in life she'll probably find a way and be Bumamruti and all that. But where they start, it's a how.
But do you know there's a saying, do you know this, Ghosty, that there's a saying that's, I'm paraphrasing because I can't remember the exact words, that says, wives, particularly wives, we need to be hoes in bed.
Oh yeah.
You know that?
I mean, that's not a lie.
That's not a lie.
No, it's definitely not a lie. I'm just asking if you guys
I
are
get
aware.
surprised when you get young girls, you know, like you say, Mama 2000, and this girl is busy saying, "You mean I'm the master of men on top?" Like, you can't be a master of men on top, and you're 19. Like, there's some things where it's just like, but
by the
in a
time
marriage, yeah, definitely you should
Yeah.
master that.
By the time she's 30, I know grip. Ziapeli reke. So that's the advice you give her.
So would then the body count matter to you? If I was dating you,
does the body count matter to
you?
Your body my body count matter?
No, mine. Does it matter?
No.
Okay.
But you know but
People want to talk.
That body count about cheering. We don't care if you've smashed 100 people. We care about how many people we know that you've smashed.
Oh. And why
Just
is
move
that?
to a different province, okay?
Does somebody else want to say anything?
I like how Claire being present made guys now want to talk, you know? They've been yearning for this for ages.
Mash wants to say something.
What's this term? Fuck. I forgot the actual term, right?
Yeah.
Mara. It makes sense to us. It might not make sense to you, ladies.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's best to arrive. I don't know if you get me.
Wait, say that again. And
it's best to arrive.
Kuvaliwe than isifike kuvuliwe.
Yeah.
So he's saying no to housebreaking. That's what he's saying. If bakuthola kuvulekile, it explains why men would say, mina ngifuna intombazane nomntwana. But who do you expect to marry that girl when you have 5 kids with different women?
Yo.
Niyazibona ke guys.
Niyazibona, man.
Niyazibona.
I think it's an old school double.
So is it
It's
a thing,
not, it's still
is it a
trending
thing
very
that
much.
men still want like to be, you would rather marry a virgin? No, not a
Mara umuntu
virgin.
ongekho busy.
Umuntu ongekho busy.
But also
Oh.
the
But why am I not just girl, guys?
But also another thing is that do you think she's gonna tell you the truth about her body count, bro? So
No, but like you've said, times have changed. Women are quite vocal about what they want, how they want it, how many times
they are
they've done
proud.
it, and they are proud of what they've done.
Yeah.
So what do you think was gonna make me shy to say, dude, I've been around? If you think you've
I've
been
been in
around,
the
I've
streets.
been around. How do that just
But,
makes me feel so
good thing you haven't been around.
Wow. You know, Tepi's here. Tepi's here.
And that's the truth. It's like women own it now. But the reality is that we still have a lot of patriarchy embedded in us.
Yeah.
I mean, just from the double standard, just from Mesh saying he'd rather have someone who doesn't have a body count, but for him it's fine. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that it's a matter to say those double standards that are there. You know what I mean? And that's why because of a situation like that, you find why a hand would lie. You know what I mean? I mean, you probably have conversation and she'll sneak it in. Hey, body count is like, I mean, a girl doesn't know it's a high body count. Or you're sitting here on Twitter, you guys talk about it. Do you think she's gonna tell you the truth? I've been
I've been with 20. They'll then probably just like adjust it to like, oh, well, it's 6.
Yeah, fuck 60. 60. You know what I mean?
Question. Based on the initial question on how do you know when you found the one, how do you know that you are the one? What gives you the confidence to ask me to marry you?
Fuck.
Walahliwa today. Hunemphone yawe vibrator.
Dude.
You are no longer the one.
Okay. No, there's no one, trust me. And that's a very good fucking question.
How do you know that you're the one?
How do you know that you are ready for marriage? How do you know that you are the one for marriage? Like, is that what you're asking? How do I know that I am ready for this? How do I know that I should be marrying someone? I'll be the right person to be married
You're
to.
the right person.
And
how do you
want
know
to marry me?
You know how when that happened with me before I got married, like I remember because I was reading this also another book, just a guide. It's like basically it was a book just how to navigating, just preparing yourself for for marriage like that. And I remember there was this exercise that it said, okay, you write, I think I've shared this on the show, about you write all the characteristics and everything that you want about the partner you're looking for. Like everything in detail. Ne? And then once you've done that, now you look at all that whole list that you've written and said, this person, what kind of person do they want? Now you have to write it in detail, and you have to literally remove yourself. Don't try and make it about you. So you write everything in detail. But if like for instance, if you're saying this man, I want a man who's working and is responsible, and all of these things, then obviously the kind of woman they're looking for is a woman maybe who's just going to be caring and just taking care of a home and all of it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you start asking yourself, are you this person after you've written this list? And then now, on top of that, now create yourself to match this list. So it was an adjustment of the mind.
Yeah.
And I remember having to adjust things because you know how society would have puts this thing of we are all equal. So we had to remove things like we're not equal in a relationship. There are some things that you have to work with and to compensate for each other. Like if you find a man who can't cook, but then already as a woman you're going, but yeah, men must also cook. We can't be. It's okay to accept and say, you know what, I'll take the cooking responsibility. He can't cook, it's fine. So I'm managing. It's finding basic things that it's no longer trying to make yourself you empower yourself as this woman and because you're trying to be like a man, but it's if anything you empower yourself because you can compensate for things that he lacks. You understand? So it's all of these things where you have to go back to the basics and just find love, whether it's even just things like enjoying being in the kitchen. You see how society will make it look like, no, the kitchen, men will want to put women in the kitchen and it's as if it's an oppressive thing. Whereas it's no, there's also power in the kitchen. This is a space where you nurture, you nurture families, you build. It's a space where you get food and all of these things, So it's still empowering to just be great in the space while your man is working, and it's fine that when he gets home there's food and it's okay. You've played your role well.
Repeat that. There's power in the kitchen.
There's power in the kitchen, honey.
There's power in the kitchen, not in the pussy. In
Yes.
the kitchen.
Because you make
I
her
know that's
home.
wrong.
I concur with what you're saying when you're saying she needs to repeat that. And I think most of the time we look, there's an important work that we need to do that society deems as not important.
Yeah.
In the kitchen, that is where you make or break families.
Yes.
You are feeding your husband, your child, your
Yes.
mother-in-law. What are you feeding them?
Muti.
You see, no, exactly. You are feeding them muti, and I am feeding them good, nourishing food. When my family comes home after a long day, like you said today, you've had a long day. Try to imagine the kind of home that you would like to walk into. If you are walking into your home, you smell the good food that your wife has cooked because okay, I feel like I know now. I feel like I feel like eating a fruit salad, right? Your body yearns for certain things. So you get home, you grab a nice bowl of fruit salad, there's water, then there's a good meal cooked for you. It's nice and warm and cozy. That's where it all starts. Not when you are at the office, not when we are here talking on the podcast, because the very reason that you are here talking, sitting here and in good health, or you look like you're in good health, in good health is because your mom, because you're not married, I'm going to say your mom fed you. And the food that she gave you the abilities that you have now in order for you to think clearly, to come to the decision of wanting to know, how do you know when you've met the one?
Also,
Feed me. But
Uber Eats is killing you slowly.
Uber Eats can just take you so far, and then until it's like you get tired.
Slowly. But in building a home, guys, let's just be honest. There is power in just being in the home, in the kitchen. Because that's where diseases start, in the kitchen. That's where diseases are also healed, in the kitchen.
And here too, diseases. Here too.
So you still did not answer my question. How do you know that you are the one? For me, like what?
How do you know that you are the right one?
Where does the courage for you to to go down on one knee come from?
Yo, I almost thought you were going to say to go down on me.
You found your match. You have found your match. Nobabili.
I mean, I don't need courage for that. Trust me.
Okay.
I think also, I feel like I wouldn't be able, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to try and imagine it for myself.
Yeah.
That honestly, I feel like the point that I will go onto one knee and want to spend my life with you is because I know who I am with you.
Oh.
And I don't need to know about, yes, I could be like, am I ready? Men will never we will never be ready. You don't just wake up as a guy and you're like, okay, Masio Shata, guys, you know what I mean? Let's go do that. You know what I mean? You don't wake up in the morning and decide that. You reach a point with that person. And
where you just decide.
Where you just decide that this is the person I want to be with.
But what happens to the men that just decide on the spot? We are born as long as and they do the right thing.
That's why he's not married. That's why Funukshata, because no one's gonna marry a person like that.
But they do. There's women that have literally did not do this whole mjolo thing. Asazane ngijimisane nawe ngikapana nemoto zakho ngamatshe ngithi through thick and thin. No. Like from the moment we meet, I see you, you see me. It's a hlomu thing. Bona rashebana, like boom, we get married. It happens.
That's the effortless I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's when
Because I also it's the thing that I never wanted to have to spend 5 years, 6 years. It works for other people, you know. But it was for me. It was like, because I know the kind of character I have, is that I just easily get bored and I start questioning a lot of things. So it's not necessarily to trap or like trying to make things happen fast. It's just I want to be in a space where it's either this or no. I'd rather be single than trying to figure it out with someone who's still deciding, or, you know, who's saying, no, I want to get at that point, probably what I was like approaching, I think 24. And I was like, I remember the previous boyfriend I had who had said something like, well, we were the same age, or he was just probably 2 years older than me, or at most. And he was like, yeah, but he sees himself getting married at 35. So I was like, huh? Gilin did 12 years, 11 years, just to get married. So I'm like, okay, that clearly for me it was like, okay, it's over.
Can I ask, do you guys think that meeting the one or marriage is a luck thing? Because I feel like, personally, I have friends that have hopped from one relationship to the other, and then not with the intention yokuthi mina ngizongena la ngiphumela, but they genuinely believe that, I've met Nhlizi, he's the one, and then Nhlizi does his things, or they just don't gel, and then she has to move on to the next one. And the reason they end up moving on to the next one, it's because they're looking for this marriage thing. With, man, why don't these men want to marry me? Is it a luck thing? Because there's women that like they do all the right things.
But you just happen you're doing it to the wrong men. That's also a problem.
But also, I think, Ayman, go to therapy. You after a couple of people that you're jumping in and out of, the problem is not them.
Exactly,
it's you.
Yeah, you're choosing the wrong people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you need to reassess
how you choose
are.
your people.
Exactly. Then it's like, are you ready? Are you worthy of being married to me? That's the question.
Are you worthy of being married to him?
Mizwile.
You know
But
what I mean?
but also in what you are saying, hopping on from one guy to the next, I think more than once we've mentioned on the show that we as women tend to avoid the red flags that we see.
That's a problem.
And we want to begezela. And like you said, you always have that little glimmer of hope. That no, he's not gonna do it. He's not gonna do it, and it's gonna change. And then they never do. That's how you hop, because also you get into these relationships blindly. with the notion that love is blind. I've also mentioned here on the show that my husband told me when we started dating that love is not the bold and the beautiful and days of our lives.
Yeah, it's not a Nigerian movie as well.
Yeah, but it's not the wife
It's
either.
aggressive. It's a Nigerian movie.
You know, he said it's not the bold and the beautiful. Therefore, I would need to unlearn a whole lot of things that I thought love was supposed to be to what love is supposed to be for me and him.
And then you get women that have been married multiple times. Like multiple. How do they get it right? How do they get men to...
I think
I'm also be that type.
I am sorry.
If I'm out of here next, and I've
You're
always
getting
told my
married
friends,
again and
yes,
again and
I
again.
But
get
you know
married
one thing I
again.
noticed about...
Because opinion
No, I know how to find them. I know how to find them.
You know how to fish them.
I
Toyota. What else?
Hey, man. Crazy driving Toyota. That is the best car.
So Tina baqale ngama-VW ngeke sithathe.
Uzodivorce. Uzothatha abantu uzodivorce.
Mhlambe uzoshada mara yathi nje amavili yathi drop yaba nale ya gru
Ngizobulawa i-suspension.
no ways wena no MacGyver wena MacGyver man uyashada ke loya akukho VW pha
Sithungise Mac.
asithungise akukho VW there's no
But you know, I think what you were saying in terms of women who skip marriages, I think I see it with a lot of women. And I don't know, from my hand that I used to date, a lot of women fantasize about the wedding and not the marriage. That's
so,
what the woman, in their mind, they see the wedding day when you say marriage. They don't see the life afterwards.
Yeah.
Sunday, Netflix and chill.
mina ngiyangiyeka ne-Sunday yami ngiyangiyeka and mina ne-Sunday yami ngiyangiyeka that's the only day where I get to rest.
No,
where
but
everything-
look, in the context of marriage and love now, we're saying it's not Sunday,
it's
Netflix
more
and
than
chill
just that,
every
obviously,
day.
but I was describing a feeling. It's more than
no,
just
definitely.
Yeah, but
So I think that's just part of the reasons and that's why I'm literally racking my brain about this, because it's a question that's always been in my head.
hey, uyibuzile umbuzo Nhlizi, guys. Siyathulisa.
No,
How do you
I'm just saying that I don't think that it's an easy question to answer, and it's not an easy question for me to answer as well. And that's why I'm literally just racking my brain to understand.
I've attended not a lot, but a lot of weddings, if I can say. But there's one particular one that stayed with me because I was very close to this person. And she said to me, she was planning her whole wedding from start to finish. You could see it was, she's planning this whole thing. Ne? But she also took it into consideration. Okay, it's more than just the actual day of the wedding. These people have a contract. And the contract stipulates, should you fuck up, we are having another wedding. But on the wedding day, we're wearing the same clothes that we're wearing. I get a divorce party now. We're wearing the same clothes that we were wearing. Got this speech. You are going to stand up there and tell the whole family, why are we getting a divorce?
Yeah.
It's in contract. It's in black and white. They've signed. They also have a joint bank account where they are putting money into it. Nobody wants to fuck up because they are all putting money into it. The one who fucks up walks away with nothing.
What happens when one is in breach of contract?
That's what I'm saying. When you fuck up, you are in breach of contract. You lose. First, we do the event where we are now wearing the same clothes that we're wearing on
and
our...
if I refuse, I mean...
You can't refuse, we
force me.
signed.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. What would be the repercussions when I fuck...
You get sued.
You get sued. Is that what it
get
goes
sued.
to?
And already there's a joint account where the other one will just get all the money, whoever.
But now the
F's up.
question is also, another question is, because a lot of, especially Twitter is always on some, we are saying if you're going to get married in community and out of community. Because now you're talking about rules and regulations. You get an
But marriage is a
intellectual...
constitution, I get. It is a constitution, I get, where we eventually go in front. We decide, we meet, and then we decide to involve the government and go to Home Affairs and register the wedding and the marriage and whatnot. So it is a constitution. Let's make it work for us. Let's make it. Let's have. Not honestly, I would get married if it's in community of property. I would definitely have contracts in place. I'm not about to get played. What?
Yeah, guys. Honestly, I feel, especially in the way our marriages are so disposable. I feel like an ANC for me is the best. For me, going forward out of community.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Also because I'm not gonna marry a slave queen that only knows how to install a
To
weave.
eat shit.
You know what I mean? The only thing that they know is to install a weave. I must work my whole entire life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, now busy
You work your whole entire life to build something, and then when someone decides, Oriana, she doesn't fuck with you anymore, she leaves and she takes half of everything you've worked for. You know what I mean?
Yo.
You know, that's my thing. So I don't think that out of community for me, I mean, there are other people who've decided to marry and it works for them because they know the kind of people. But I mean, I'm just looking at it and the industry I'm in, chief. You can't.
I guess that's the sad part with the relationships, you know, like whether it's finding as well. People would in fact, I wanted to ask you, like, what kind of woman are you like exposed to that makes this decision so hard for you? Is it maybe the woman?
Definitely not like his mom.
Wow.
I think also, if I had,
You don't trust the woman now.
If I had 1,000 rand for every time someone said you look like a fuckboy, that's the first thing.
When we see beard, we see.
I don't know how many times I've had that, you know? So it has always made me kind of like, I'm very like in two minds about, okay, what do you see? You know what I mean? It's very weird.
No.
Dude.
Okay.
Go to the clubs, they know me.
What?
No, I'm kidding. But I've always felt like, I don't know, I've wondered a lot. I wondered a lot about this question, but I've always wondered to myself, I'm a bit insecure about the kind of person. Because my thing is that my biggest fear is having to go through life with the wrong person.
You know, I think, excuse to interrupt you, I think I'm like you, ne? I've relationshiped before, before, but it just didn't work. And now I have fears about marriage and seeing how the relationship ended. I'm insecure about marriage. I don't.
Did you divorce after you got lobolat?
No. It wasn't. The process wasn't complete, but we did send a letter to his family, letting his family know, this is not working anymore. We have evidence that no, we did communicate with no, this is not.
Okay, because you're about to
Yay. I was going to say, tomorrow you're going to be the biggest DJ and the guy is going to come for his
Mara, you
half.
can contest it. Like, I have faith in... I wouldn't say government. Mara, I have faith that if you can prove, Uguti, I haven't been with this person for so many number of years. It's been out there that we are not together for so many number.
I think what saves you is the fact that you wrote to the family and the family acknowledged. So they
didn't. I wouldn't say they acknowledged.
not such a deal.
Listen. We've been through the courts.
married woman.
No, guys. We've been through the courts.
Masombuka.
It's there online, guys. Why you listen?
When they say married women stand up at church, you stand up.
No, I don't stand
So
up.
you are cheating.
You are cheating, man.
Guys, can you hear me out? We've been through the courts. Like, things were done. But let's not forget, Uguti, in constitution, Meli isn't. You must complete. You don't say you are married when you must complete.
It's official
You
after
must-
they've paid.
Yeah.
Once the transfer of money goes in between, then it becomes official.
Yeah, it becomes official, but is it complete? Did the families agree with, okay, says vumelele ukhumuto simloboleng of 50, let's make an example. Simloboleng of 50,000.
Are you worth 50,000?
Naki worth Dubai money, guys.
Where
Dubai
do
money.
the poop in the mouth thing?
Yeah, I'm worth that. But I'm
Can I
not
want
eating
that
no
Dubai
shit for
one?
no one.
What's it called, man?
I'm not eating shit for no one. But it needs to be complete. We consulted with lawyers. Like, things were done proper. But what I'm saying, Mina, it's because of that experience, I have fear of marriage. Like I even talk about it openly with my partner. With yo, guy, we're gonna have to go through some serious therapy for us to get to that point where I agree to say, now let's get married. It's nothing personal. It's just the fear that came with the experience before. So
you need therapy.
I need therapy, man. I don't trust marriage. I believe in ukipita very strong. I know.
But here's the
The
thing.
institution, Jim.
You know, when you were speaking, when I asked you how would you know that you are the one? Is it fair, guys, that I say that you've answered the question of how you would know when you found the one?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I do. But
Our
I think
job
you
is
know
done.
what?
It's
I
Call it
think so.
invitation.
I think I've been answered, and I think you realize that it's not.
And what is it now for you?
So, one thing I've learned is that it happens where you just know from the get-go, and then you find that other times you grow into that feeling with someone. You know what I mean? So, I think the moment I know, I will know. It's not something that you go into saying, now I'm gonna get married. You know what I mean? If you know, you'll know. You'll go into it, you will know. Once you know, you know. And it's very funny because a lot of the guys that I've also asked have said the same thing, but it's never clicked. It was like, what do you mean? Do you switch on the Wi-Fi and then it clicks in your head? You connect to that
5G.
Wi-Fi? You know what I mean? You know. So I think I've just gotten to that point. I'm just saying that you will know when it's time. You will know. You know what I mean? You don't need to ask anyone.
So
if you have to ask,
if you then it's not it.
If you have to ask, then I think you still are in problem. You know?
But do you guys, are you telling me, Uguti, no, Lu and Kosti, when you got married, it's a different one. Let me ask Nolu.
Was it
How long were you guys together before you got married?
for just under a year, like 10 months.
Oh, but then
okay.
again,
Yes, Jolene.
So there was never a moment where he was like, I'm sending a letter to your parents, let's get married. You questioned it. There was never a moment like that where you're like, Mara, am I doing the right thing?
Yeah, no, of course, you have that. Of course, there was that thing. But, because that's why I say everything I prayed about. Like in that time, especially, I was like in a very prayer, like my prayer journey was like on fleek, if I should say. And everything, it was like, okay, God, if this is right, show me like that this is. And it's like you see something and someone will talk to you or someone will just validate it, him or say, and those were the small signs for me that made it like, okay, this is the right thing I'm doing right now.
And that's how a lot of them end up in wrong marriages, because they ignore that.
Yeah, but and the thing is, there was, because I was looking out for red flags as well. So it was that thing, let me be alert, let me see, or let me be shown like goodness as well. Because sometimes we're looking for red flags, like, I am trusty. Why like that thing, there's that thing that you get scared, like become fearful of. But then it's like, you start seeing good in that. You start the way maybe even the family comes, how they all have this understanding and everything just goes in sync. It's not like I'm a lobolo where people are fighting, there's a problem. So everything was effortless, and that's why I say it was just guided just by prayer, and it's almost like you get that check, and then it's effortless. It happens. Next move. What are we planning? All right, 1, 2, 3. You start feeling like, is this right? Is this wrong? And then you see a check. It's like there's just those ticks, and I think that's what it was throughout our journey.
I think with just like with any other thing that you want out of life, as much as you know the things that you like and you want, maybe also start asking yourself the questions, what don't I like? I think that is when you would get the answers of what it is exactly that you want, and if then I fit the puzzle of us being together. Because when you start to think, because when someone says, how many of us like Coke? We'll all put up our hands. How many of us like water, And how many of us like gin? Then it's, the numbers go up and down. They're not even. But when you sit down and you introspect on the things that you don't like, And I know because we like to run away from the red flags, you're going to shy away from putting that note down, like Ghosty was saying, that she did a task from a book to say, these are the things that, this is how I am, this is how he is. Can I fit into his character and can he fit into my character? So that's the assignment that you need to do. The same way when you're looking for work, you're like, or maybe I can live with this one, I can make it work. That's how it is with relationships and marriage.
Yeah.
What can you live with and what can't you live with?
I think, guys, do you think it's easier to be single?
Yeah. I believe so. I believe
No, but then you get to a
easy.
stage where you are at now and you start saying, maybe I just need a little bit more. Some people get there and some people don't. So is it easier for you to be single?
I love the comfort of a man.
I'm with Kanye. It's hard for me to jola. Just like Kanye, when I left my previous boyfriend, I said, I don't see you as a future husband. Therefore, I cannot continue this relationship.
When
with
Stella got her groove back, mhlamba tlo jola 2A. Kuyadlala.
But the thing is, sijolile.
Nijolile, ne?
Sijolile, we partied, we did whatever we wanted to do, but then we got to a point where we were like, this is not how we would like to continue. At least it's not how I would like to continue. So, andikwazi lala kwantle today, ndimlahle after a year, then I'm with Mpumelelo, and then I'm with
And I'd like to introduce you to
Ntando, no
everybody.
out again, guys. So if I want to be with you and I'm at your house, I'm moving in.
And I'm going to introduce you to my parents, because I want everyone to know. And
Hi, guys.
introduce me to your mom. Like, that's just, I must know malume. Yes, I'm that type.
That's what I'm saying.
That's why I need marriage.
My marriage would end now, I'm certain I would get married again. Because the administration, yok jola. Oh, what, guys?
Oh, what's your favorite
Give me a
color?
secret.
Oh, what's your
Music.
Even.
That's the worst thing about relationships.
But just not now. I still need to figure it out.
No, you don't need to do it because everybody's doing it, and you can only do it when that thing ifika kuwe. The same way this question arrived in Ntle's mind, ukuthi, how do you know when you found the one? You will know when you have found the one.
Yeah.
Okay, and just like that, Sizwile.
Yeah, we had
Sizwile.
I think
Clay
you've
and
answered
I
my
got
question. A teaching.
a teaching today.
Thank you to Red Cherry Studios for hosting us today.
Yes.
And in the previous episode, guys, this is our new home. We love being here.
Yes.
Thank you to Ntle for bringing a male perspective and a male opinion into the show. The chillers have been asking. We have answered your call. Don't ask again.
Yeah,
Bye.
also I feel like you catch me on podcasting, right? Though.
Oh,
Don't miss
Riding
it
in
every
Cousin's
Wednesday.
voice. That's
Bye,
it
guys.
from
And a
us, guys.
girl.
Goodbye.
Thank you.